What up, though, y'all? This is Chris broadcasting to you from Vernon, CT. Last full day here. Then I'm gonna get back to the D. But I promised you guys I wasn't gonna disappear just because I was out of town. I've stuck on that. Let's get into the topic at hand. We got B Simone. She's trending right now. She went viral because she was seemingly complaining about the fact that she can't afford to shop at Bloomingdale's and has to shop at H&M. Now, I personally don't shop at H&M. I didn't find this offensive. There are people who do shop at H&M, though, that did find this offensive. And they also are laughing at this. Now, me... All right, if you shop at H&M, that's fine. Why find it offensive that somebody else don't want to go? Like for me, I like Polo, I like Coogee, I like Guess. Yeah, this is stuff, basically the stuff that I was wearing in the 90s when I was in high school. I still wear it to this day. And I don't care that it might be supposedly out of style by today's standards. It's what I like. And if someone else doesn't seem to mind or doesn't care for it, I'm not bothered by that. I'm not offended. You know, I'm gonna wear what I like, and that just is what it is. So if you like H&M, that's cool, but she don't have to like it. Or she's shopping there because that's what she can afford now. She can't afford to be at Bloomingdale's. That's cool too. But I guess people are laughing at the fact that she's seemingly being humbled by her current life circumstances. I mean, you know, I seen a few years ago, you know, she was talking about she can't date a 9-to-5 guy, but a lot of these women in these like influential spaces, these influencers, these public figures, they all feel that way. So she's not any different. A lot of times guys be trying to humble chicks that are at their peak, the peak of their powers, and that's just not gonna happen. If she is in her prime, okay, she's in her physical peak, and she's used to dealing with certain types of guys, and this isn't specifically B Simone, this is just women that were in her position, period. She's used to dealing with pro athletes, she's used to dealing with rappers, she's used to dealing with other influencers, or, you know, perhaps guys that are doctors or whatever, guys that really be making bank. And you're telling her it's not going to always be that way. She's not really going to be receptive to that because her life as she knows it has always been this. And in most cases, they can't see a point in their life where guys aren't checking for them or checking for them as much. They can't see a point in their life where guys aren't willing to fly them out here and there, buy them their Birkin bag and whatever else. They can't see it. They're at the height of their powers, and this is their life. It just is what it is. In my opinion, you can't red pill women. Women have to figure these things out on their own. Like, there's no amount of trying to tell her she's not going to be a baddie for the rest of her life that's really going to sink in. There's no amount of telling her, oh, you're going to hit the wall, that's going to make her take you seriously. Like, you're just going to come off, in her opinion, you're going to come off as a hater. And that's why I said, you really can't red pill women. Women just kind of have to get humbled with age eventually. And I mean, that's just the way that it is. The older a woman gets, if she's still single, the phone rings less and less. You know, the Chaz and Tyrones that were calling for a good time, they, in many cases, they've moved on because there's always some new group of 20-year-olds coming into the game. So eventually, the party girl is going to age out. Again, I'm not talking about this stuff specifically about B Simone. I'm just referring to the dating cycle. You know, men and women have a very different, I guess, when it comes to finding a significant other, finding a spouse, if that's their desire to do so. The strategy for women is very different than the strategy for men. And oftentimes when women are trying to play the game like men, they get the worst possible outcomes. I heard a male self-improvement influencer, very, very popular. He used to be in the red pill space. He doesn't really associate with red pill anymore. He stopped years ago associating with red pill because he realized that the space was becoming very toxic. He wanted to continue to preach his message of male self-improvement, but he didn't want to be lumped in with red pill because it was becoming very toxic. He has said multiple times over the years that I've seen that religion is the final form for 304s. And I don't know, man. I'm starting to see a lot of proof of that. Simone, now she's in the religion or whatever. She's all about giving her life to God, giving glory to God now. And we know another very prominent influencer, beautiful lady, who she went through a religious shift, got married, and under 2 months, in less than 2 months, got divorced. And she shared a video recently that looks like she ready to get back out in the streets. I didn't really think much about that before, about religion being a final form for 304s, but there is starting to look like there may be some truth to that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I'm super convinced of it yet, but I'm paying attention now, at least, since I've seen a few examples that kind of, I don't want to say confirm it, but give a little bit of validity, like, oh, I see what he's talking about. So there you have it, man. Simone, she's saying she not used to not having a certain type of money. She's used to looking in her bank account and seeing a certain type of money. She not really liquid like that. She's putting money into a platform. And this is a stark contrast from the woman that not too long ago was basically saying that her man got to be an entrepreneur and all that sort of stuff. You got to be a hustling entrepreneur and all that. And that sounds good. And other women that are like-minded like to hear it. But I know hustling entrepreneurs. I know a few personally. And one thing I can say, and this doesn't speak for all of them, this has just been my personal experience, they don't typically want a boss babe. They usually want a chick that's a bit more agreeable, less mouthy. They certainly don't want a chick with a platform that's going on there sharing a business on social media and whatever. They don't want a chick with a podcast, because whatever goes on in your relationship is going to become content. They typically want a chick that, I don't want to say shuts up, but just knows how to move around him. They don't want to take her to meet their other well-to-do friends and she's doing a bunch of talking, a bunch of running off at the mouth. That doesn't look good. It doesn't reflect well on him. They don't want a chick that's always got her tits on display. They don't want a chick that's, masculine acting, whatever. They just don't want that. And it's not that those women aren't good people. They're just not a good match for them and their lifestyle. Because I oftentimes hear women like Simone talk about they want a man that fits their lifestyle. But there's only a certain echelon of dudes that fit that lifestyle. And when you have those like top 10 guys, they're top 10 guys. And those type of guys that are in the top 10 that fit her lifestyle are even fewer. So you want an even smaller percentage of a small percentage. And this is how they oftentimes end up kind of like single and alone. And it's an unfortunate thing because they usually have had plenty of people trying to warn them that this would be the likely outcome. But when their life has been anything but the total opposite of what people are saying is going to ultimately end up being their fate, I see why it's hard for them to listen and take it seriously. So I'm not going to sit up here and take shots at this woman. Y'all can see in the way that I spoke about her, I'm not interested in dragging this woman, talking bad about her. She is just another example of a woman that when she was at the height of her powers, she could never see a time where that wouldn't be the case. And now that that has passed, Chad and Tyrone aren't calling like that. Dudes aren't trying to fly her out to bring her to these different exotic locations. Dudes absolutely not trying to like take her seriously as a not even a dating option. Forget a wife option, not even a dating option. I mean, these have to be things that are humbling. Her money not right. It's not the way that it was. She thought that that was going to always be what it was. And even that's not even hitting like it once was. So, nah, I'm not going to take no shots at her, man. I honestly wish her well. I hope she figures things out. Things get better for her from here. Let me go ahead and get to stepping on y'all. I've been sitting out here and it's baking. It's like 90 degrees. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. And hit me in them comments. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.